Good evening, folks. Thank you all for joining us on another edition of the Nightmare Hunters podcast. Tonight, you got me and Robbie. Unfortunately, Doc is up to his eyebrows, which would be the knees on most people. But Doc's up to his eyebrows in orders he's getting filled, which is a good thing. His business has a lot of business to take care of. But unfortunately, it means Doc won't be able to be with us tonight. And Steve has to work, so Steve rarely has a Wednesday night off, so we wish them both well and hope they're both prosperous and safe, and we'll have them back with us soon. But we do have me and my idiot almost twin brother next to me, and we're damn happy to be with you. Robbie, how the hell are you, brother?
Doing good. Doing real good.
I do believe you got a little bit of good news to tell everybody.
Well, I don't know if everybody thinks it's good news or not, but
I did.
Book 4 got completed today, so it's with the editor. If I can get my thumb turned right, it's with the editor now. So, yeah, she's done, and Luke is working on the cover. I sent Da
The image, the working image, very nice, Clark. I'm liking it a lot.
It's really nice, Clark. So, like I said Monday night, this may not be everybody's cup of tea, and they may not like it, but I really, really had fun writing this book, stretching out into the Scottish lore and mixing that in with our stuff and our flavor, so to speak. Yes, Jeff, book 4.
I haven't finished it yet. Robbie just sent it out. The pages out just like a couple of hours ago, so I haven't had a chance to finish reading it yet. But I have really enjoyed what I've read so far. You can really see Robbie's advancement in his writing style, and this one I think is the best of the lot.
It's it's gonna have its share of Easter eggs in it.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna have a few of them. We got a big crowd tonight. I mean, everybody already piling in. Yeah. We got almost 100 people in the chat already, and we're like 2 minutes, just a few minutes in. But I think it's going to be a good time. We're going to be talking a lot about a lot of sightings tonight. We'll be reading some to you. We'll be talking about a few others. Then there might also be a little surprise. Those of y'all who enjoy the new intro, I think you're going to like the new outro. We just got the outro finished, but you're going to have to stick around to the very end to see the outro. It's bigger than the last one because it's a lot more encompassed, and we're pretty proud of it. I think you guys are really going to like this outro. So make sure you stick around all the way to the end of the outro because you're not going to want to miss this. This is really nice. Really nice, Clark. Robbie, how the hell are you, brother?
Doing good. Like I said, I hadn't been this happy and glad to get one done since book 1, I think.
Well, I think it's going to do well. I really do. Yeah. I think people are going to enjoy it.
I really had to do a lot more research. I mean, obviously, the stuff with the creatures and stuff, I didn't have to research because I've got all that stuff in my head anyway. But making sure that I did everything right with setting and researching some real world things versus some things that had to be made up but were period accurate, and then getting the help to do the Gaelic dialect and putting the glossary together to go in the back just so people don't get confused and they can follow along with what's in there. But I said this Monday, and I'll say it because I know a lot of people weren't there Monday to hear this. I just felt like I had to write the dialect the way it should have been written. It's like I use the example, Mel Gibson when he did Braveheart didn't do William Wallace and the Kevin Costner Robin Hood voice or dialect. It didn't sound like he was from Montana. He actually did it in the.
Technically, he's Australian.
No, I'm saying like Kevin Costner sounds like he's from Montana doing Robin Hood. So I know Mel Gibson's from Australia. I'm just saying he didn't sound like he was from
Can you imagine William Wallace going, "G'day, mate"?
That would be pretty funny, though.
That's not a knife. Whooshing.
But I felt like it was important, because DA and I talked about this, and he was like, this might turn some people off, just so you know.
Well, the dialogue is not as obtrusive as you would think, because after the first chapter, you're gonna know most of these words.
So, that being said, it's there. But overall though, the story, and pacing, and I think it's great. I mean, I don't give myself credit a lot. DA will tell you that, and most of y'all already know that. But I think I did a really decent job on this one.
I think you did a really good job.
I said decent.
I said good. But having said that, I wanted to share a little promo with you that we shot today. We shot this out at Fellows Lake here just outside of Springfield. But it's an ad for the upcoming Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference. Little promo spot I shot for it. I thought I'd play that for you guys just as a reminder. You can tell it was shot today because I'm wearing the same shirt. Different hat though. I'm not wearing my cold check hat, but I thought I'd play that for y'all. And you guys will be the very first to see it. It's going to be going out all over social media in the next couple of days. But you guys will be the first ones to see it. So I thought I'd play that for you before we get started. Here we go. Hi folks, D.A. Roberts here, and I'd like to invite you to the Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference on Saturday, October 4th at the Relics Event Center in Springfield, Missouri. If you get your tickets now on eventbrite.com, so all you have to do is go to Eventbrite and search Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference. You can book your tickets for the show or the VIP meet and greet the night before or even the following camping trip for the next 4 days after the event. Tickets are going quick, so get yours while you can. There's a great lineup of speakers, including myself, and I'll be there all day on Saturday with books. I'll be doing a presentation, and I'll be there to sign autographs or just to hang out and chat. So we hope to see you guys there. Again, check it out at eventbrite.com. All you have to do is search Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference. You can check out all of the speakers there. It's going to be a fantastic time, and I really look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you guys on October 4th. Hope I didn't sound too bad.
Sounded normal to me.
So if you guys are going to be anywhere in the area on the 4th of October, we would love to see you. It's at the same event center that we just did Rubicon this last weekend. So there's plenty of room. There'll be a bunch of people there, different vendors, and it's going to be a good time. And if you're going to sign up for the meet and greet the night before, it's actually in Ozark, Missouri. At the Elks Lodge in Ozark, and I think there's a dinner and drinks, and you'll be able to hang out with all the speakers. There's quite a few speakers. I mean, there's some good folks you're going to want to see. Plus, they're also going to be doing a live podcast from right there at the event center. So get your tickets, folks. It's going to be a lot of fun.
On the same note, get your tickets for the one in Ohio at the end of the month that me and DA are going to be at. I think
I should shoot one for that too.
Yeah, is that Eventbrite that does that, or does it just go straight to the website?
I think it is Eventbrite. I believe it's Eventbrite that does that. Well, how about I consult the Googles? Now, if I can, is it? What is it? Something of the forest.
Spirit of the forest.
Spirit of the forest. Spirit of the forest. Bigfoot. Yes. It's. The address, if you guys want to go to the actual website itself, I will put that up in the chat right now. But you can get your tickets from there, or I believe they're also available on Eventbrite. So let me pull up that, and I will share for the Bigfoot Festival in Ohio. It's a lot of fun. We had a great time last year, and we'd love to see you guys at that one as well. So it should be popping up. Yeah, as we speak. Hope you guys will check it out. Robbie, do you want to start us out with our first encounter of the evening?
Sure can.
Heck yeah. Awesome.
Okay, Bowers is commenting on our orange shirts, even though it was not planned and they're not matching. His is
Yeah,
sack
technically mine's kind of a peach color. It's got Bigfoot on it.
and mine's a Clemson shirt. So because this, first game of the season's coming up Saturday, so I got to go ahead and start getting the mojo built for LSU.
And if you want this particular shirt, go to Buc-ee's. It's where I got it.
All right. So my computer rolls it back up. All right. Fisherman has up-close daytime encounter with a hairy hominid near Clayton in Rabun County, Georgia, November 8th, 2014. Class A sighting. West Fork of the Chattooga River. I've been there many times. I went to a favorite spot for the weekend to get some peace and quiet and hopefully a monster brown trout. Hang on, there's a helicopter going over and knuckleheads are going to go nuts for a minute. Sorry.
It's what it is. Captain Bucky always got to make an appearance.
Well, I felt the house start shaking, and then I heard I was like, oh, here it comes. Anyway, sorry about that. Where was that? And hopefully catch a monster brown trout. Been going there for years, fishing and camping. Not extremely remote, but wild and beautiful nonetheless. It's actually an old home place that has long disappeared. Nothing remains except a concrete foundation and a narrow, overgrown road. Well, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Concrete foundations, overgrown roads. That was once a driveway. It was a very cold night, mid-20s. Ooh, that's way too cold to be fishing. That's hunting weather. But the sun was shining.
I've fished in worse. Hell, I've cut holes in the ice to fish.
Well, if you're ice fishing, that's one thing. But if you're fishing anything other than that, that's too cold to fish. But the sun was shining bright, and it was starting to warm.
It's too cold to fish. You ain't drinking enough.
Oh, okay. That's fair enough. I'll give you that one. I'm going to read this line about 20 times if you won't shut up and let me finish.
Sorry, brother.
It's okay. I did the same to you. You know it. It was a very cold night before, mid-20s, but the sun was shining bright, and it was starting to warm up. I made a relatively short hike down the old road, bed to my spot by the river. I dropped my pack against a tree and went down the step to the embankment to the river, or of the embankment to the river's edge, to check out the water and soak up some of the sunshine to warm up. After a few minutes, I heard what I thought was another fisherman or someone up above me where the old foundation was. I thought, great, so much for peace and quiet. Must be hardcore trout fishermen like me to be here in this cold weather. See, I told you.
Again, I reiterate, I stand by it. If it's too cold, you ain't drinking enough.
Well, apparently he wasn't drinking enough. Because if he was, this probably wouldn't be too much of a credible.
He clearly didn't have his canteen cup full of bourbon.
This probably would not be a credible eyewitness account if he was drinking enough, though, for it to not be cold. I walked back up the embankment, expecting to see people. What I saw in broad daylight, probably 30 to 40 yards directly in front of me, was what I can only describe as what appeared to be a fully erect gorilla. Okay, I don't think he really thought about that sentence before he wrote it out.
Okay, suddenly I was 12 years old. Maybe he was drinking too much.
Okay, I retract my earlier statement. I think he was. I think his canteen was full. I'm going to go out here on a limb and say
that's not what he meant.
That he meant the thing was standing up straight.
I'm going to guess him if he was standing fully upright, not sprouting wood and grunting at him.
Of course, we ain't got to the rest of the story, though.
So there I was.
Don't look, Ethel.
Too late. She done got a free shot.
Oh, we are off the rails already.
Rails? We don't need those stinking rails.
Oh.
Okay, go back to the fully erect gorilla.
Well, I don't want to go to the fully erect gorilla. Oh. His face didn't protrude. Ah, God.
Sorry.
Rein it in, Rob. Rein it in. Except his face didn't protrude out. It was flatter, and the hair was the color of a squirrel. brown, black, and silver. I don't know if I've ever seen a black or silver squirrel, but okay.
First duck's dog, now the gorilla.
First thought, first I thought, what am I looking at? My second thought was, God, how big? Oh God, I did it again. God, how big is he? Oh,
Was he Pee Wee Herman or John Holmes? Come on now.
Rip, take me to the train station.
Oh God.
It was incredibly muscular, at least 4 feet wide at the shoulders, 7 to 8 feet tall in height, and it was a massive animal. The skin was dark grayish color around the face, and its head was extremely pointed, like a dunce cap almost. No neck, large pecs visible under the hair. Eye color was a shade of amber. It was squinting in the bright sunlight, soaking up some warmth around the face. He didn't really see me at first. Or at least I don't think he did. I did kind of pop up over the embankment. I think he knew I was there, but didn't really know where. He could have been trying to smell me. I watched this massive, beautiful animal standing there in the bright sun for probably 15 to 20 seconds. I had a feeling of amazement, wonder, and actually privileged. Okay. I knew that what I was looking at was surely one of God's immaculate creations. It was beautiful, big, and scary as hell, but beautiful. Hair was clean, looked groomed almost. Very healthy animal. After 15 to 20 seconds of seeing this, I actually stepped up over the embankment all the way into view, and I said out loud something like, "Oh my God, do I have to read this?"
Yes, you do.
I said something out loud like, "Hey, big boy, ain't you a pretty thing?"
Oh God. I'm glad you're reading this one instead of me. Oh God. Oh, I got the papers.
This poor guy, he's just writing his story, and
I know we were going to be reading Bigfoot porn on here.
this is shaping up to be Bigfoot's Wild Weekend. That's when he finally saw me. It dropped its head down and froze. I could tell I surprised it. It wouldn't make eye contact. Gee, I wonder why. I could see its whole posture change. It became very shy and acted like it was hoping that as long as it didn't look directly at me, I wouldn't see him. It was like a bashful child.
He was playing coy. Bigfoot was playing hard to get.
Yep. It wanted him to make the first move. I took a few steps forward and said, he did it again. "Hey, big boy." Or something to that effect. Oh, and that was enough for him. He turned to his left and was out of there. Good on you, Bigfoot.
Because you were trying to seduce Bigfoot.
He was trying to touch Bigfoot in his no-no square. I could hear limbs and leaves rustling as he made his getaway. He moved like a deer going up a mountain fast. Didn't see him, but I could hear him. After probably about 5 seconds, the rustling stopped and it was totally silent. Then I clearly hear what sounded like someone doing a drum roll with wooden sticks on a wooden table. 3 drum sounds. He actually typed them out. I can't do that, but you know what I'm saying. Very quick, very clear. Definitely not a woodpecker. No doubt in my mind it was him. He had traversed the mountainside and was on the ridgeline above me in no more than 5 to 10 seconds. Unbelievable. I do not think this word means what you think it means. Inconceivable. I never felt threatened, never felt afraid.
No, but Bigfoot did.
That's why he got out of there. Was a feeling of privilege and respect. I set up camp and stayed at that spot for the night and all the next day, but never saw it again. spent most of my life in these mountains, walking feeder creeks, backpacking, fishing for brook trout. Thought I knew all there was to know. That day changed my life. Made me not only question my sanity and my eyesight. I'm not crazy. I have 20/20 vision, but my understanding of the natural world. I've been back several times, but haven't seen him. Thank God that one's over.
Yeah, he's got a restraining order.
Oh my God.
Bigfoot got out of the area. It's like, you ain't gonna believe what just happened.
Look at Dash's comment.
Oh, what did he say? I missed it.
Fully erect Bigfoot means fully erect man.
Oh God. Oh, folks, we did not know.
Are you not entertained?
We did not know it was going to go down this road. Oh.
Sorry, folks.
Bigfoot went into Whitsec, changed his name to Bob, and now lives somewhere in Northern California.
Bobfoot. Excuse me. Are you Bigfoot? No, I'm Bobfoot. I get that all the time, though.
Did you see the Margolin comment? Waiting for him to bust up his raspberry preserves.
I'm not surprised.
So the moral of this story is what not to do if you see a fully erect gorilla. Northwood says, "D.A. White, you screw." Well, it's just our bad minds taking it in the wrong direction. We generally read over these stories, but nothing really pops out until you read it out loud, just how bad it sounds.
Yeah, I mean, you just skim over it to make sure that it's fairly decent, but
oh, good Lord, man. Oh.
Hillary said, I hope he at least called him the next day.
Yeah. He never calls, never writes. And Cajun says, and it wasn't me that brought up the preserves this time. Okay. Okay, I'll hopefully this one doesn't derail like a train taking a dirt road. This one's hikers hear possible vocalizations through the night near Cedar Lake in LaFleur County, Oklahoma, which is right there in that neck of the woods where I set codename Wild Hunt Odin's Call. This is technically a Class B. What happened in 2008 on Horse Thief Spring. You think I could speak English? Horse Thief Springs Trail. This is we started.
Can't speak it.
Yeah, I can write it. I just can't speak it. We started a trip into the Horse Thief Springs Trail from Cedar Lake on Saturday afternoon at about 5:30 p.m. We had a late start due to a drive from Texas and waking up two teenagers on a Saturday. We were in a hurry to make the springs before dark, so we pressed pretty hard on the trail. We had 7 miles to cover quickly. We had planned on hiking the old military road trail several miles to the west, but audibled it to this one due to the available water sources. I made camp on the other side of the Ouachita National Recreation Trail where it intersects with the shortest HST. This is about 200 yards past where a small water flow crosses the ONRT, Ouachita National. Okay, yeah. About 9 p.m., my son's friend stated, "What was that?" My son looked at me and asked if I'd heard the noise. I wasn't paying attention because I was making our dinner. Another call immediately came. It was a series of 3 to 4 high-pitched whoops. They were very clear and distinct. My best guess would be within half a mile to our north. At one point, I said, "It sounds like a monkey." This continued for a while, and eventually we heard the whoops start coming from our south. The ones from the south sounded like they were coming up past Highway 1 because we could hear an occasional car pass, and it sounded much closer. The calls seemed to go on into the night intermittently. Finally fell asleep around 2:30 in the morning and was up around 6. No other vocalizations were noted during the morning or our hike out.
Yeah, that's pretty tame compared to mine.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just going to say it.
No fully erect gorillas in that one.
Arlen said he was laughing so hard he couldn't type.
Oh, I can barely breathe. I was about to
Yeah.
hyperventilate.
Well, y'all heard I was laughing so hard I couldn't read.
Oh, good Lord. Well, I'm sorry, folks. Lord, I apologize.
Leave me with them starving pygmies down there in New Guinea. Amen.
Oh. Marcus, he says, howdy, y'all. I'm sorry I'm late. Hope all is well. Hope you have such a great community. Brother, you missed it. You missed the last encounter story. You might want to go back and listen from the beginning because there was
I ain't reading it again.
Yeah, I don't think we can do it a second time. Oh.
I didn't catch you said it, but somebody said, this is why it's important to choose your words wisely.
Yes. Oh.
Oh, Bigfoot Wild Weekend.
Oh, my God. Oh, I ain't laughed that hard in a while. I just wish Doc could have been here for that.
I was literally just about to say, thank God Doc was not here because he.
Can you imagine the looks on his face like.
Oh, he's going to watch it. He's never going to watch that one.
Oh.
I'm going to get a text sometime tomorrow that says, hey, big boy.
Fully wrecked gorilla here.
Oh,
God! I'm sorry, Doc, that you missed this one. That was a funny one.
yes.
Hey, Robbie, do you have any that aren't about?
Well,
about that. Hey, big boy.
This is about a dog man. If there's somebody out there saying, hey, big boy to a dog man, then they got bigger problems than than the other stuff. So hopefully this is Buck Shoals. And I'm rolling the dice here. I'm staying in Georgia. Hopefully this is a different one or a different type. Let's put it that way. Buck Shoals State Park, Georgia. This will be a brief summary because I wrote most of the entire encounter here. Well, way too long ago. Or, excuse me, way too long. On July 4th, 2016, just a few days ago now, two girlfriends and myself decided, hey, wait a minute, I think I read this one already.
Sound familiar?
Yeah, because I think we talked about, he said two girlfriends and I decided to raft down the river. I think there's somewhere about him being a power lifter.
Yeah, if that's the power lifter one, then yeah.
Yep, that is. Okay.
Okay. Well, I've got one in the can if you want to start selecting another one.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, then. This is a Class A, also in LaFleur County, Oklahoma. A lot of activity because that's right there in the Ouachita Mountains. This is a nighttime sighting by a trucker near Hanobia. Or actually, they pronounce it Hanabi. That's right. Yeah. Only in Oklahoma can Miami be Miami and Hanobia be Hanabi. Gotta love Oklahoma. Because, like I said, it happened in winter 2000, Class A sighting.
They like the right angle, too.
It was reported in 2000. Apparently, it happened in July of 1983. In July of 1983, I worked for the timber company driving a 1-ton truck pulling a 1,200-gallon tanker in the Hanabi Pickens area. There's a Pickens in Oklahoma? I did not know that.
There's a lot of Pickenses. We ain't the only one.
On a trip back to our facility, a very large, hairy creature ran across the road in front of me. I came within a few feet of running it over. It didn't stop. It just kept on running. It was approximately 7 feet tall. The upper torso of its body was brownish color, and the lower was a lighter color. One of the things I particularly noticed was no shoes. My first thought was someone pulling a prank. I soon realized that it couldn't be, not up here in this mountainous forest. No houses around for miles. I was told by phone by a relative that 3 large man-like hairy creatures were observed on a person's porch and in their yard near that area. A man got his SKS and is allegedly shot at one. My relative also told me that the contractors who plant young pine seedlings are refusing to go near Hanabi and plant trees anymore. Today, January 28, 2000, we have had very heavy snow, and while I was home listening to the scanner, I overheard a conversation between 2 Oklahoma game wardens talking about the incident. One told the other to be on the lookout for large, man-like, hairy creatures. They seemed to be very serious. They were talking about the same incident that I have mentioned above. This area is called the Hanabi Wildlife Area and is very, very sparsely inhabited. An area of 875,000 acres is owned by a large timber company, and as the loggers move in to cut the trees, there are sightings. Dude, that's a good area. We have got to get down there.
Yeah. Yeah, Oklahoma's pretty stacked with encounters.
Dang sure is.
All right. I'm switching gears and going to Florida. Maybe that'll be safer. All right, Lake County, Florida, December 20th, 1974. It was Class B. I can't remember. I wasn't driving, and it was night when we got to the campground. I was about 15 at the time, traveling with my mom and two younger siblings, my brother and sister. We were driving from Atlanta to Fort Myers to visit my grandparents, as we did every December. We stopped in Ocala National Forest. Been there. It's a pretty hairy area, literally. I don't remember the campground because we didn't get there until after nightfall, and I remember we went to Alexander Springs the next day, which was close by. Anyway, we drove through the campground and picked one of the last spots, several empty spaces away from the closest camper. The night was mild, certainly compared to North Georgia, and we all had sleeping bags, so we just pitched them around the sandy ground under the stars. My mom and my brother and sister were together near the road, and I wanted some space, so I was about 10 to 15 feet away, closer to the end of the space. I wasn't afraid of the outdoors. I'd already been whitewater canoeing or whitewater rafting.
I wouldn't want to do that in a canoe.
But whitewater canoeing, spelunking, camping, hiking, etc. I love to hike, and catching snakes was a particular interest. Anyway, I love being in the woods, and I knew that even bears are scared of humans and didn't think anything would bother us in the campsite, even if we were on the fringe. There were a dozen or so other campers, particularly a small group about 4 or 5 campsites away, who were having a bit of a party. Anyway, it was late, probably around 10 p.m., and we got out our sleeping bags and went to sleep. I dozed off for, I don't know, maybe an hour, and suddenly woke up. It was pitch black and very quiet except for the footsteps. At first, I thought it was some big man walking through the saw palmetto. It was definitely bipedal, which is what threw me later. I figured someone was either drunk, looking for a place to pee, or lost. I remember cocking an eye to the trees and could see no light reflected from a flashlight. I remember thinking it odd how someone could navigate the woods in total darkness without a flashlight, which is why I figured it was someone drunk out to relieve themselves. About 15 or 20 seconds, perhaps a dozen footsteps, crunch, 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 I realized it was coming into our campsite. I say it because I can now hear it breathing, and whatever it was, I realized it wasn't human. It sounded like some huge, like a Santa Gertrudis bull.
The hell is that?
Oh, Jeff, what's a Santa Gertrudis bull or Gertrudis? Anyway, I lay very still, listening. Suddenly, I heard it very close to my head, no more than a foot away, and it sniffed deeply several times as if it was checking me out. I was suddenly seized with terror, and I have never been afraid like that before. It was an odd reaction. The back of my mind was telling me it was probably just a bear, the only thing I could think of that would be out and be that big. And it was simply looking for a picnic basket. She actually typed picnic.
It's a Yogi Bear.
Literally, yep, literally typed picnic instead of picnic. Not looking for a picnic basket. Hey, boo boo. I was wide awake and never I've never had those night terror dreams. I was fully conscious. I simply did not want to move. I must have flinched because whatever it was suddenly went silent. Although I couldn't hear it, I was certain that it was still there watching me. After what seemed like an extremely long time, it was about 10 to 15 minutes, the regular noise of the woods started to come back, and I could hear small animals rustling about in the dried palmetto leaves around the camp. I quickly got up and went over to wake my mom up, and I told her that there was a bear in camp. She grabbed a flashlight, but all we could see was a short way around or into the woods and around the camp. She laughed at me for being scared of nothing. Well, I went to the car, locked the doors, and lay down in the back seat. I had a hard time getting back to sleep, and at first light, we packed up and headed off to Alexander Springs. And that entire trip, my mother teased about how I was so frightened by an armadillo. Yeah, an 800-pound armadillo. I didn't think to check for prints. I didn't run and quickly snatch up my sleeping bag, or I did run and quickly grab up my sleeping bag where I'd left it, and I neither saw anything nor smelled anything. But I convinced myself that it was a bear. For whatever it was a bear. For whatever it was, it was enormous and had a big lung capacity. But it always bothered me that it was obviously walking on 2 feet, and it left making no sound. Yeah, that would be rather concerning if you're laying there and you sense something come up behind you and start sniffing you. That'd be a brown pants moment.
Fully at gorilla.
I wasn't gonna go there.
Oh, you knew it was going to happen.
I know. I tried, but
Well, I almost said it when you talked about the 800-pound armadillo. Hey, woodwalkers are here. Hey, y'all.
Whichins?
I don't know. It doesn't say. I don't know which one of the woodwalkers that is, but thank you for being here.
It said woodwalkers. It might. Well, I don't know. It could be either Spencer
I mean, Spencer or Misty. If it was House, it'd just say Greg House.
Yep.
Okay, well, I got one queued up. It's not super long, but it is a Class A. This was that was reported in 2018. It's from Martin County, Indiana. It says, we live around caves, and we were wondering if they may be living in the caves behind us. That's something we've talked about a lot. We've heard it every night for the past several months. And last night, I heard toys moving around in somewhere in our creek this morning. It's becoming very scary out here in the country. The past several months, we've had some very strange activity going on around our house. We live out in the country, and we've ignored a lot of it. But here lately, we can't ignore the activity that's going on. About a month or two ago, my husband went outside to smoke, and he heard something. And as he looked into our driveway, he saw an animal that stood about 7 feet tall, all covered in hair. And he couldn't explain it, except that it looked like one of our dogs on 2 feet and extremely tall. That sounds more like a dog man than a Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. It's reported as a Bigfoot sighting. It walked past our trailer, and that's how he could guess the height of it. We've heard what sound like baseball bats hitting a tree. We've heard whistles and calls of what a Bigfoot kind of sounds like. We've had chickens and cats go missing. And every night at about the same time, you can hear footsteps and sounds. It's to the point where we are scared to go outside. We've never really believed in Bigfoot until we've seen it and we've heard them. I'm sure there are more than one around here because we live near caves, and they sound like they're all around us at night.
Yeah, that's definitely me.
They call it a Bigfoot sighting when we said it looked like his dog on his hind legs.
Yeah,
could this be a Dogman sighting?
Or maybe possibly a Gugway, but
yeah. Yeah, I wish they would contact information and reach out to them.
Yeah, Misty, thank God you weren't in here for the first story I just read.
Oh, God, yeah. Misty, you got to go back and hear the first part. Henry, BFR says time for some good, strong bear tracks or floodlights, motion sensor lights. I'd keep them away from the house, at least until they figured out a way around the motion sensors. So it was Misty signed into the Woodwalkers. How you doing, Misty? Jeff says it's Misty. You missed the excitement. Yeah, I don't know. Thinking the way he described that as looking like his dog on its hind legs, that leads me to think maybe that's a Dogman sighting.
Yeah, because like I said, unless it's a misidentified gugway, that doesn't. Why would you describe it looking like a dog that stood up? Because
Maybe they didn't know what a Dogman was.
Literally, that's what you said. Your Dogman encounter was it looked like a dog,
on its hind legs.
On his hind legs, and you never said, okay, I think this is a Bigfoot. You was like, this is a Dogman. So.
Saw that too.
We broke it in his spleen.
Sorry, kickbacks. Yeah. That was classic. Ooh. I might have to have Noah go back and just cut clips of us cracking up out.
Hey, at least we entertained you.
If nothing else, we could serve as a bad example.
Because I know we entertained ourselves.
We certainly did that.
And I'm pretty sure that's going to entertain Doc for a couple of months.
Doc's going to get a lot of mileage out of that.
At my expense.
Henry says, I use security cams on my home. Game cams in the wood line, they don't like the IR. So I made an IR fence. It works. That's a good idea, making an IR fence. And that's kind of what I did in our backyard with the motion sensor lights that I bought on Amazon. There's really not many places you can walk in my yard without tripping one of them. And generally, one of them trips, the motion of the light trips the other one.
Yep. And, we witnessed it firsthand. When Doc was on thermal, they didn't react at all. As soon as he flipped that IR on, he said they reacted. He says they could see it, because he said it went from them just standing there watching me and you, like that when he flipped that on, it was like they were trying to scramble and hide. It's like, oh, they can see us.
Yeah, so I would say that kind of puts, well, you can't say anything with any, no 100% certainty, but I would say there's a extremely high likelihood that they see IR.
It's either that or that was just one hell of a coincidence.
Yeah, because there's nothing else going on that would have made them duck. You and I were literally just standing in the road at that point. You got another one?
Yep.
All righty. Spencer says, I'm trying to listen while I'm eating dinner. Hope y'all are doing good. Brother, we are. Hope you're having something good and slathered in Alabama white sauce. Sorry, couldn't resist.
I started to. I'm not going to go there, Spencer. I love you too much. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Oh, all right. This is from Marion County, Florida.
Hold on, Robbie. Read this comment.
All right, let me click back over. Hold on. Angela, I thought you liked me.
Oh.
I'm gonna get Jeff to read that one on his show.
Yeah, I can't wait till he gets to the fully erect gorilla part.
Yep.
You need to find that one again and just link it and send it to Spencer.
Yeah, Misty, you need to read that one. That would be hilarious.
Oh my God! Yeah, I would probably be close to peeing myself. I'd be laughing so hard,
That would
especially
be
watching Spencer's face as she reads it. Oh,
And then Greg would be somewhere off camera somewhere. You just see the camera shaking because he'd be on the ground laughing and shaking the camera.
oh.
The joys of live entertainment.
Oh, hey,
Huh?
maybe we need a fully erect gorilla T-shirt.
There he was, a fully erect gorilla.
Oh,
With, hey, big
hey,
boy.
big boy.
Ain't you a pretty one?
Oh,
You know,
oh.
like they said, it's all about choosing the proper words. In the proper
So when you're sending in your encounter stories, choose your words carefully,
because you never know who's going to be reading it live in front of.
because that's serious. That encounter was serious, but we couldn't take it that way.
No,
Oh, oh, good Lord! All right, Robbie, go ahead before I get to cracking up again.
oh, I'm sure you're going to crack up again. It's just a matter of time. Bigfoot sighting in Marion County, Florida, October 5th of 1977, Class A. Newspaper article, Sentinel Star, Orlando, Florida, October 5th, 1977. Lurking Bigfoot trick or threat. There's no treat involved, just trick or threat. Halloween is still 3 weeks away, but strange creatures are already being seen around Central Florida this week. A 22-year-old hitchhiker reported sighting the legendary Bigfoot, saying the beast was tall, dark, and stinky. I can just imagine the reporter. He was tall, dark, and stinky. Sources say it lurked in the darkness in a lightly forested area of US 441, half a mile south of Bellevue, he said. I've got some information about Bigfoot, the tremulous voice said on the telephone. I think I just saw it. Monday morning, a security guard for the Apuka nursery told police a 10-foot tall hairy animal with a chest full of reddish gray fur and small ears attacked him, ripping off the terrified guard's shirt. Oh boy, here we go again. Donnie Hall, 27, said he fired several gunshots at the creature in vain. The Bigfoot sighter, a Bellevue welder who didn't want his name known, said the beast was brown and black. I'm 6 feet tall, and it was bigger than me. It smelled horrible, like garbage. Neither of the two creature sightings was substantiated. Florida Game and Freshwater Commission's agent who examined tracks at John's nursery in Apopka said they appeared to be man-made. Marion County Sheriff Don Moreland chuckled about the Bigfoot report. I've been in law enforcement for 20 years here and don't remember any reports of monsters, flying saucers. Yes, but I don't recall any monsters. I don't. Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah, there's been worse. Hey, Luca's in the chat. Hi, Luca.
Luca.
Well, I've got one. This one's a Class B from Monroe County, Indiana. Possible encounter while backpacking in the Hoosier National Forest. This was, like I said, Class B fall. It was originally reported in 2006. I'm estimating we were about 4 to 5 miles deep on the Grub Ridge Loop Trail. If you enter from the Grub Ridge Trailhead, we were relatively close to the south bank of Lake Monroe, about half a mile away. We had hiked for about 3 to 4 hours. Myself and 2 other people were backpacking in the Hoosier National Forest. We had set up a camp in a valley off the Grub Ridge Loop Trail. That's about a 10-mile loop. We were about 4 to 5 miles deep in the woods. We were sitting by our campfire. It was about 1 a.m. when we heard a loud vocalization. It almost sounded like a very deep growl, then a howl. It honestly sounded like an ape. When we heard what sounded like an animal being attacked, when we heard what sounded like a large branch or tree being snapped in half and then thrown toward us. This happened a couple of times. We then heard a loud commotion coming from the woods. We heard what sounded like a small animal being attacked, making a distressed crying noise. I think it was a rabbit, but I'm not sure. It sounded like it was being killed. This went on for 20 to 30 seconds and then silence. When we heard something run off through the woods. I could hear branches breaking and leaves rustling, and by the racket it made running. It sounded big. You could hear its body brushing through the trees. There are no bears or mountain lions in this area. I've grown up here and know what a coyote sounds like, and it was not a coyote. I'm honestly stumped as to what we encountered. This is why I decided to report this, because for the past 5 years or so, I've not been able to figure it out, and it's always bothered me. That definitely sounds like, because when the branches being thrown, the ape-like growl / howl, and obviously killing a small animal, but that does sound a lot like other Bigfoot encounters I've read.
Sorry, I'm having to answer a little, Patty.
No problem.
Missy said if she read one, she wanted if she could use sound effects and talk like a British phone operator. I said absolutely. She said, "No way, I was kidding. This country hick can only sound country. Huck. I think she meant hick."
All right, Dan, I think it's your turn.
I got the vapors again.
Got the vapors.
Oh, shoot this thing. Have mercy. This thing killing me. Alrighty. Early morning encounter during a rest stop near Florida City in Monroe County, Florida. This will be March the 15th of 1995 in the springtime. Class A. Pine forest habitat on the Everglades National Park Road. First habitat on the right when heading west. They got multiple habitats, like second one on the right, third one on the left. Anyway. I worked in a nightclub on Miami Beach called Warsaw Ballroom on Wednesday night. We had a members' night, free drinks until 1 a.m. Okay, this story's not starting off any better.
Damn it, he almost made me spit water on my keyboard. Don't do that.
With a show after, which made it a busy but early night. After work, I went on a trip to the Everglades National Park city called Flamingo. I was out of work by 3 a.m. because that an early night. It took me an hour to get to the gate of the park entrance, which at the time was open and they didn't charge. Excuse me. Me and my friend arrived by 4 a.m. Our plan was to enter the park, go straight across to the Flamingo, camp out, and get up at noon and go out on a boat tour and a hiking tour. Then stop at the different Florida habitats, which are on both sides of the road between Florida City and Flamingo. On the way back to Miami the next day, when we arrived at the park entrance, we found ourselves super tired. And as we started across, we decided to stop at the first habitat between Florida City and Flamingo. Oh, excuse me, I read that line again. Decided to stop at the first habitat called the Pine Habitat and take a short nap. Well, we arrived and parked relatively close to a dumpster at the habitat, and the temperature was cool but comfortable. So we nodded off. Being there was no one in sight, and it was peaceful. About an hour into my nap, I was awakened by my friend who appeared panicked. and was motioning me not to make a sound. My head was on the glass of the driver's side of the sports car we were in. He was shaking and pointing at the glass where my head was touching the window. I didn't lift my head, and I slowly rotated my head around and looked through the glass, which had a metallic limo tint on the on it in the King. Okay. You you can see out, but you can't see in. I saw the head and eye of an ape-like creature trying to look into the car. I got nervous. Oh, gee, wonder why. I got nervous. We had a gun in the car, which I had a permit for. My friend was slowly trying to get from under the seat, but I stepped on his hand. What in the world kind of position were they? But never mind. Don't answer that. I stepped on his hand and motioned, no, don't do that. Don't do that. The ape-like creature was touching the car and continued trying to see in for a good 5 to 10 minutes. I had put a reflector plate that was a lightweight tin foil in the front window, and as well, it was trying to look in the front window. It walked over to the dumpster, which was about 15 feet from where we had parked. I noticed a really strange odor, kind of like a skunk, but worse, more rotten smelling. My friend was holding his nose and about to lose it, and the creature was nosing through the garbage, reaching in. It had very long arms and was over 6 feet tall, covered in reddish brown, blondish fur, shaggy looking, but very tranquil acting. And because I did not see any breasts, I assumed it was a male. Here we go again.
Another fully erect gorilla story.
I really couldn't tell. I didn't find anything in the dump. It didn't find anything in the dumpster. It grabbed a McDonald's bag and ripped it apart and threw it, continuing to lightly pull through the dumpster trash for a good half hour, looking back at the car a few times. Then it stared back towards the car, and I didn't want to spook it or make it jump on my car or anything. It started to walk off past the driver's side of the car through the pines. By this time, it was still not daybreak, but getting close, and it continued walking in the northwest direction. And we sat there and watched it walk into the swamp. The only camera we had was locked in with the luggage in the trunk of my car, and my cell phone did not have a camera, neither did my friend's. We obviously couldn't sleep, so we started up the car and went straight to the other side of Flamingo. When we arrived, we napped in the parking lot of the info center, and when it opened, I went and found a ranger and told him what had happened, along with a female park ranger as well. They didn't act surprised, and they asked if we had taken pictures. I explained why we didn't, and they jokingly said, "You didn't shoot it, did you?" And I said, "I didn't have a gun, but wouldn't that be illegal to shoot wildlife?" They said, "You'd be surprised how many people do shoot at them." They said, "Thank you for reporting it," but apparently it was a very common thing, and they didn't ask for my name or even write the report down. I never filed anything because my mom said people would think I was crazy. I never reported it. Never reported it. Bothered me that I didn't, so I'm reporting it now. I assume you and I assure you I am quite sane and not a prankster. If you need any additional information, I'm happy to provide it. That one was hard to get through.
You missed a good comment. Check this one out.
Hang on, let me get back on the. Do I even want to read it?
That's good. Does anyone else think that maybe instead of A, B, and C for encounters, they should go to PG and X rated classifications?
Will make it easier for me to not pick them. That's for sure. And it don't help every so often I hear you.
I'm trying to keep it together. You set the tone right off the bat with that first story. Oh, whew.
Misty, I don't have answers for those questions. I'm sorry. Because I've got plenty of questions myself.
Yeah, us too. Robbie's desperately proofreading stories ahead of time now. It's like anything gonna. Okay, this one's from here in Missouri, in the Mark Twain National Forest, Crawford County, Missouri. Was originally reported in 1977.
Hold on. Rodney, I'm going to kill you. I know where you live.
What'd Rodney say?
He sent me a picture. I'm going to hurt him.
Is it not appropriate for the channel?
For this channel, yes, it probably is appropriate.
Okay, back to the story. This is happened in 1977. It says campers see a large figure cross river in the moonlight. Class A sighting happened in the summer of 77. We'd put our canoes in at the Highway 19 bridge, floated north about 4 or 5 hours before camping before nightfall. The sighting occurred sometime after dark. I was in my sleeping bag on a sandbar with 3 other guys on the Merrimack River. That's a squatchy area, I can tell you. After an afternoon of canoeing and fishing, I was awakened and was looking upstream into a beautiful bright full moon. Awake and was looking upstream into a beautiful bright full moon. The light given off was so bright that you could read by moonlight alone. Suddenly, about 20 yards upstream to my left, a very large, very massive creature walking on 2 legs stepped into the river to cross. It appeared to have a very, very massive upper body. Excuse me. Very massive upper body. Because of the moonlight and the angle, I could see that its body had a very furry appearance to it. When it walked, I could see its arms sway and its knees bend with every step. I also noted a pronounced crest on top of its head and a very pronounced ridge on its eyebrow line. I was on my back looking upstream and propped myself up on my elbows for a better look. As I did this, Greg, who was off on my left, propped himself up also and said out loud, "What the hell is that?" I answered, not taking my eyes off the creature. "I don't know, must be somebody ripping off cabins," I said, implying a human form. Immediately upon Greg's words, though, the creature turned at the waist and looked directly at us, only taking its eyes off of us to look to the other bank where it exited the river. When it looked at us, its face was blacked out due to turning away from the moonlight. I remember hearing the creature cutting the water, which is about 3 feet deep, as it walked. The water flow was very fast, and no person could have crossed this area and remained standing for very long. I walked through water like that. It's rough. I've been swept off my feet in the Niagara. I remember hearing the creature cutting the water, which was about 3 feet deep, as it walked. As it walked, the water flow was very fast, and no man could have crossed the area and remained standing for very long. The water came up to the creature's knees. I could see its knees bend as it lifted them to walk. It exited the river on the right side, and we lost sight of it. The sighting lasted only about 10 seconds, but lives vividly in my memory. The next morning, when Greg and I recalled what we had seen to the other guys, we were severely ridiculed. Because of this, we didn't go and check for tracks or other signs. We both agreed that what we saw was not human and far too tall and massive to be a person or a bear. We both then agreed that it had to be a Bigfoot we had seen. I do recall that the draw that the Bigfoot had come out of prior to entering the water was very dark, with thick brush and a spring-fed creek in it. As we were floating by, I remember having a very uneasy feeling about it as I was looking at it and would not have gone into it. I know a lot of snags like that, and I've floated the Merrimack, and that's a very densely wooded area. Part of the Mark Twain National Forest, yeah, for something to cut through heavy moving water, especially 3 feet deep moving water, that'd be waist deep on any normal person, or maybe even mid stomach, depending on how tall you are. 3 feet of water would probably be just above my waist. But
You mean like something cutting through 8 feet of water like that?
Yeah, against the current coming right at us, that takes some strength.
Some strength.
Some strength, that's for sure. But yeah, this, of course, the James River where we were at down on Blanc Road, much deeper than parts of the Niangua and the Merrimack. The Merrimack's not a super deep river unless there's been a lot of rain. But that night down on Blanc Road, that water had all of 6 to 8 feet deep, 8 feet deep.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's a good encounter. I think I know the area he's talking about. Like I said, I floated the Merrimack a few times. But I don't think I would have put up with my buddies making fun of me, especially if 2 of us saw it. Like, I don't give a shit what you say. I saw something. I'd have went and looked for tracks. Yeah. But then again, I'm kind of an idiot like that, and Robbie can attest to that. Because he'd be right there with me looking for tracks.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
What?
Just
look out at the
too late.
She'd been incensed.
We're going to yell, "Look out, Misty!"
She done got a free shot.
Oh, dear Lord, help me. This is a long one. I don't know what's in it.
Should we give you a minute to read ahead just to make sure there are no fully erect gorillas or hey big boys in it?
I'm just going to do like your mom said you used to do, and I'm just going to blunder in where angels fear to tread.
Sometimes that's the best way. Especially with that first story. Because this guy's cracking up for the last hour.
I mean, it can't get much worse, right?
Yeah, I mean, how much worse could it be, really?
I mean, an 800-pound erect gorilla, fully erect gorilla.
Unless there's Bigfoot slow dancing involved, I don't think it's going to be any worse.
Well, as long as the Blue Oyster theme song.
Bigfoot was wearing assless chaps
in a leather biker hat. He had a studded collar on.
I said, I'm a logger just up from Coons Bay, Ontario.
We've been logging trees.
We've been topping trees.
Topping trees, that's right.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Just wing it, Robbie. Clifford says it too. Just wing it, Robbie.
Huh?
He said, Clifford Vest says, just wing it, Robbie.
Yeah. That's usually what gets in trouble. This is from Pinellas County, Florida. October 21st, 1977. Class A, 3030 Country Road or County Road 70, Palm Harbor. Here we go. Lord be with the starving pygmies down there in New Guinea.
So there I was, hunting for Bigfoot. Motor oil smeared all over my body.
Night vision goggles on. Oh God, he is talking about a shotgun here in a minute. This is probably going to be good.
Okay.
We lived in a rural area of Central Florida that was mostly a pine forest. There were a few hundred acres of derelict citrus groves nearby, as well as a cypress swamp to the north, and the east was the pine forest. The area we lived in was roughly 4 square miles between paved roads, but to the north, east, and west, beyond the area I'm describing, there was an additional substantial area of pine forest, palmetto scrub, and dense cypress swamp. Our house was situated on the crest of a hill, or at least what passes for a hill in that part of Florida, which is what, a pile of dirt. Florida don't ain't big on hills, but anyway, it was about 8 o'clock one night. and I was home alone with my father. My parents were separated, and my father would occasionally come to stay with me when my mother and siblings were out. During the late fall and winter months, it was our custom to shoot rabbits at night. Our house was roughly square with small floodlights on each corner of the house that would illuminate our small yard area at the edge, up to the edge of the tree line, out back to the north and west. We would typically wait until it was fully dark before we would go out. We would load our shotguns in the house, get our flashlights ready, and on occasion, my father would wear a headlamp, or as he called it, a one-eyed dog. We would leave the corner floodlights of the house off until we were ready. Then we would turn on the lights and quickly step out the back door. Most of the time, there would be a rabbit or two nibbling in the grass at the border between the poorly kept lawn edges and the forest. Not a difficult shot with a shotgun at just under 30 yards. On this particular night, it was my father's turn to shoot. I held the large flashlight. He held the Stevens 12 gauge side by side double barrel, and wore a less powerful headlamp. As we flipped on the lights and emerged from the back door, he stepped out and to the right and panned east toward an old ear tree at the edge of the grass. I turned west towards the northwest corner of our yard, and there was a clothesline and an old bench my grandfather had made. On the edge of our yard, just about 6 to 8 feet from the tree line, was a large crouched figure. When I first saw the figure, it was reasonably well lit from the floodlights and from the edge of my flashlight beam. My first glimpse of the creature, it was already moving, springing up from a crouch. Dear Lord.
Uh-oh.
Springing up from a crouch to a fully erect bipedal stance.
Hello.
2 times in one night.
And you got them both.
Yep.
Was there a boing oing, 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 oing sound? That's 2 fully erect Bigfoot stories tonight. Woo!
I mean, you can't make this shit up.
Yeah. Thank God you got them both.
I mean,
Oh.
Seriously. All simultaneously rotating away from me, turning to the creature's right, as there was
doing this.
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Simultaneously rotating away from me, turning to the creature's right, as there was a motion when I first saw it. I was not able to get any meaningful look at its face, but as it turned, I saw the creature with very good clarity from a distance of just under 30 yards. It was not a giant creature. It was almost the same height as my father, who was around 5'10", perhaps an inch or two shorter than he was. Most of my view of the creature was from the back, and after it had turned and started moving away. The creature was clearly much stockier than a man, with very large shoulders. And I hear you laughing.
Sorry.
Very large shoulders and not very much narrowing noticeable at the waist. Okay, that makes sense. But anyway, its upper legs were thick and powerful looking, and it was covered in fur of medium length. Not shaggy or super long, but long enough to obscure details of most muscle tone. The fur was longer than that of a deer, yet not quite as long or as deep or dark as a bear. The fur was not especially dark, and was certainly not black. the flashlight we had back then made everything look a little bit lighter and a little bit more bluish purple than it really was, which I previously observed many times when examining close up to rabbits that we had shot. The creature took 3 or 4 very distinctive strides before its lower body became obscured from view by some undergrowth. Its shoulders and head were visible for perhaps another 2 to 3 strides, and then nothing could be seen because of the pine branches and the fact that the creature moved beyond the area illuminated by the floodlights on the house. I never shone my flashlight directly on it. I never shone my flashlight directly on it as I was stunned. Okay, that made more sense. As I was stunned to the point of both immobility and speechlessness, and not being able to write. As soon as sorry, that was mine. The fact that the creature, as soon as I saw it, I will never forget the distinct look of the creature from behind. It had some kind of deformity. Its head was tilted quite far down and to the left side, with that side of his head being at an awkward angle to its shoulder. It was like the muscles or tendons on the left side of his neck had been injured and were now contracted a bit and shorter than the muscle on the right side. It was not a temporary position or part of the creature's sudden movement. That awkward left-leaning head position was maintained even as the creature ran away. I do not recall any vocalizations or any specific smell. I do remember the sound of twigs snapping and leaves and pine needles crunching very loudly as the creature moved away. The sound of it moving through the forest and undergrowth was quite distinct and had a cadence that no other local creatures made. The sound of the creature running stopped when the creature reached a small clearing about 70 yards into the woods, or I assume that's where the sound of its exit stopped based on the direction. My father, who was with me, saw nothing, although he heard the creature's exit. He was facing about 160 degrees opposed to where I was facing, and the entire incident lasted perhaps only 3 to 4 seconds. My father asked me what was going on, and I was absolutely and very literally speechless. I couldn't speak. I simply pointed and stood there frozen. He took me in the house and tried to get me to calm down, but it was more than five minutes before I could speak. I remember feeling fear, but I think my physical reaction was actually a mild form of shock. What I saw was so unbelievable, so unexpected, and so close, I suspect my physical reaction would not have been any different than if I had seen the Headless Horseman. After about 10 minutes, I had recounted what I saw 2 or 3 times to my father, who was clearly in disbelief, but quite moved by my physical reaction. At about the same time, we heard a loud but distant barking, howling, and baying from our closest neighbor's hunting dogs, which he kept in a large outdoor kennel at his home about a mile through the forest from our home. We would occasionally hear the dogs bark at night, but never like this. I could see the look on my dad's face change from disbelief to some level of fear as the dogs made the most agitated sounds we've ever heard, and that we never heard again. We tried to find the phone number of our neighbor with the dogs, but we didn't know where my mom kept it. After about 20 minutes, the dogs settled down a bit, although they continued to bark without the same level of agitation. After another 10 to 15 minutes, my father suggested that we go investigate the area where I saw the creature enter the woods. I thought this was a really bad idea and wanted no part of it, but my father insisted there was some explanation for what I had seen, and that I would feel better once I had things cleared up in my mind. My mind was not unclear. I was quite certain of what I had seen, although I could not explain it and had no name for it. Eventually, we went outside. This time, we were both carrying shotguns. I refused to step away from the back door, but my father slowly ventured over to the area about 30 yards away and looked at the ground and the brush line. He entered the brush line where I indicated and went perhaps 2 or 3 more steps and bent down again. I kept my shotgun pointed in his general direction, but not directly at him. After a few seconds, my father came hurriedly back and said, "We need to get in the house." He was clearly shaken, and my construction worker, outdoorsman, Purple Heart awarded father was afraid of nothing. My father called the local sheriff, but when he explained things, he did not know what to say. He explained that I had seen something, was scared to the point of being speechless. He told the sheriff about the neighbor's dogs, but the more he spoke and the less he said about the specifics of what had happened, the more frustrated he became. He finally told the sheriff, "Never mind, I'm sure it was nothing." He did not give me any meaningful details of what he saw, but he simply explains that something big clearly went through the area in a big hurry. My father and I knew the woods well, and we hunted there all the time, spending hundreds of hours a year in these woods. I had never seen anything like this creature before, and I have never seen anything like it again. I never saw a large animal track in that part of Central Florida that I could not easily identify, and I never saw any scat that I could not identify.
That's actually a pretty serious encounter.
Yeah, it was. Except for that one part.
Well, that's the phrase that pays for tonight.
Lord have mercy.
Spencer's going to bed. Good night, Spencer.
Nice, Spence. Glad I could entertain you for a little bit.
Well, I have a couple.
Good. I hope you get a good one.
Well, I don't know if it's got any erect Bigfoot in it, but fully erect Bigfoot, but we'll find out. This was from fall of 2007. The title of it is Cougar Research Interrupted by Wood Knocks at Bellsmith Springs.
Cougar research? Maybe some fully erect Bigfoot in that.
Might be some there. Bellsmith Springs State National Landmark, Bell Springs National Natural Landmark. Let's try saying that 5 times fast. I was in Polk County, Illinois, researching cougars. I arrived at a camp on a Wednesday and happened to be the only camper in the area. It was near sundown when I arrived, so I was cutting wood throughout the night. I can recall breaking limbs around midnight when, to my surprise, I began hearing wood knocks coming from a nearby canyon. These knocks were aggressive and loud. There was no wind either. The knocks returned on Thursday night and lasted until I fell asleep. The next day, campers filled the site and the wood knocks stopped. By Sunday, the campers had left and I was alone again. I didn't hear the knocks that night, but I remember waking up around 3 a.m. with the fear of something coming into my campsite. I got up and heard footsteps about 20 yards away, so I immediately packed up and left. I returned the following spring and documented large footprints a couple of miles away from the same campsite. Pretty gutsy camping out there by themselves.
Yeah.
What?
Spencer just sent me a message.
Your turn, brother.
I don't want to.
Yeah. Are you going to go for the hat trick? Is there going to be another fully erect Bigfoot in the story?
God, I hope not.
Robbie's going for the hat trick, folks.
Oh, I'm scared.
You probably should be.
I don't get scared of nothing. Oh, God, I picked another long one, too.
Of course you did.
War and Peace. Yeah. All right, here we go. Collier County, Florida. And that the home
Florida Sasquatch rides again.
and that the home of Ray Finkel.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, the first one was Georgia. Remember? So
That's true.
them Georgias and them big Florida Bigfoots is amorous.
I guess that's Okie Finoki with me.
And it's Okie Finoki with them too.
Uh-oh.
Collier County, Florida. February 21st, 2004. Class A sighting. I believe Alligator Alley is now called I-75. I haven't been back there since. In May of 1973, I and my father were working for a bunch of X's, drywall. I guess that's X in the company name out, but something drywall in Boynton Beach, Florida. We had just finished a job and came into the office for a new assignment. Frank told us he had a special job for us and would consider it a favor if we did it. The developer of Boca Chica had a couple of hunting cottages in the Everglades, and it wouldn't take us more than a couple of days. We would have to camp over since it was way too far to drive, and there wasn't any lodging around. Now, my wife was 7 months pregnant, and I wasn't crazy about doing the job. However, Frank was persuasive. If you want to continue working for me, you'll do it. Well, I'd say that's pretty persuasive. I didn't have health insurance and was making payments to Bethesda Hospital in advance for my wife's upcoming hospital stay. So I caved in and took the job. The next day we packed some camping gear in the station wagon. My idea of camping was a state park or a KOA camp. We set off. The directions were simple. Take the Florida Turnpike south and go west on Alligator Alley. About halfway across, you'll see a gravel road to the left. Pass it and take the next gravel road to the left. The work site should be halfway between Alligator Alley and Tamiami, I guess is how you pronounce that trail. Looking back, I would say this would have put it in Collier County, Florida, the beginning of the Everglades County, or country, excuse me. We traveled miles and miles under the hot sun on Alligator Alley for what seemed... We traveled miles and miles on the hot sun on Alligator Alley for what seemed like miles and miles and miles.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's not a fully erect Sasquatch, but that's pretty good.
Well, that's better than fully erect Sasquatch. Coming to the second gravel road, we turned left and traveled more miles and miles and miles down a washboard gravel road. I had packed fishing gear and a 22 caliber Magnum pistol. Not a pistol, a pistol. Pistal.
Isn't that part of a flower?
Yeah, I think so. Apparently not, though, because this flower had a holster. And two 30 caliber M1 carbines. Why are you worried about a 22 caliber pistol if you got two 30 caliber M1 carbines?
Yeah, the 22 is just gonna piss it off.
Yeah. A canal ran parallel to the road, and I had at least wanted to get my hook wet. That wouldn't be a bad sentence if it hadn't been for earlier tonight. That just takes on a whole new meaning tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Our brains have all just gone there.
Yeah.
So anything even remotely funny, we're going to probably be laughing at.
Talked him into stopping for 15 minutes or so to stretch our legs, and I dropped the line in a canal. It was full of alligator gar, which were stacked up like cordwood. My father spotted a water moccasin on the other bank, and I took my 22 mag, aimed behind the head, and shot and took its head clean off. We started up again, and after many more miles, I saw a sign that said, "Bunch of X's, sight." We arrived early in the afternoon. The two cottages turned out to be two houses, each identical and 2 stories high. The developers had a drive made by dumping a pad of coarse gravel about 2.5 feet to 2.5 to 3 feet high, about 300 yards back into the swamp. At the end and right of each drive was a big square of gravel that the houses were built on. This was going to be more than a 2-day job. We started taping the houses. While I was working, I could hear something rummaging around outside in the bush. I couldn't see anything, but there was a strong odor similar to that of a pig farm next to similar to the pig farm next to my grandfather's farm in Ohio. Butch X's again had a reputation as being a big boar, or being a boar hunter, and I assumed it was a boar. We worked till dark and cleaned and packed up our tools. I had Dad start a campfire on the part of the drive that went past the houses. You had to do a 3-point turn in the car, or in the carport area, to turn around. I set up the cots and put on my holster and my 22 mag revolver just in case we encountered a charging boar. You got to be kidding me. He thinks a 22 Magnum's going to stop a charging boar?
Nope. I wouldn't even try it.
Hell, I wouldn't try that with a 9.
I don't know that I'd try it with a standard AR.
No. Dad brought out a slab of bacon, his idea of camp food. Oh well, he was doing the cooking. It smelled good too. One thing about Dad, he's a master chef when it comes to rough grub. My mind went somewhere else when I saw that for some reason. I don't know why.
I would imagine.
We ate bacon and beans and home fries and then sat around the fire talking. The whole time, I kept hearing the rummaging around in the Everglades. The sound seemed to be getting nearer. It occurred to me that if it were a wild boar or anything as large as the sounds indicated, the 22 Magnum probably wouldn't be too effective. He just figured that out, huh?
Like I brought a spitball tube. Let's see if we can stop it with that.
I brought a BB gun to a real gunfight. You better off with a knife. I decided to get one of the carbines, and as soon as I stood up and started to go to the wagon, I turned and saw 2 eyes staring from me from about 20 foot away. First thought was an owl, but then I realized. Hold on. Then I realized what I was. That does not make any sense. I thought it was an owl, but then I realized what I was to be too effective.
That's how it was written. Okay.
I froze in my tracks. Next thought was a bear. Only I was staring level at its eyes. I was on the gravel pad about 2.5 to 3 feet higher than it was. I'm 5'6". My God, it was 8 to 9 feet tall. My hand went for my gun. I drew it and was going to fire. Only I realized if I shot this thing, all I was going to do was really piss it off. Also, it wasn't acting threatening. It was just watching. It had a face more human than a bear or ape, closer to an Australian Aboriginal. Well, that sounds familiar, don't it?
Yeah.
I could also see its skin. It didn't have thick fur. It had sparse, long, and wispy-like strands. The hair was more like that of an orangutan. Only these were things I put together, bear or ape. Ugh. At the time, I was just plain scared. As a Vietnam veteran with a Purple Heart, I wasn't over scared either. Let's just say I had a strong sense of self-preservation. I made a beeline for the house and momentarily thought about stepping about stopping to get the carbine from the wagon. However, my feet took me into the house and up the stairwell. My dad was hot on my heels. I went to the window, which faced the campfire, and looked out of the window. I asked Dad, who was across the room, "Did you see that?" He said, "No." I told him, "Then what the heck were you running for?" He said, "I saw you draw your gun, then didn't shoot and fire. As I looked, or didn't shoot and fire. As I looked out the window, I asked Dad, who was across the, oh, sorry, went back to the other line.
I do that too.
I figured you had a good reason. I told him we need the carbines. You go out there and get them, and I'll cover you." What a good son.
I got a 22 Magnum. You run into the line of fire and get the big guns.
He wouldn't do it. That's because there's a reason he's older and wiser. He wouldn't do it. Still looking out the window, I noticed we left a slab of bacon on the log near the campfire. And then I saw it come out of the brush. I told Dad, "There it is. Come over here and look at it." He wouldn't do it. I don't know if he could sit or could have got across the room in time. Anyway, it crossed the viewable area, maybe 100 feet in a few strides. As it walked, it scooped up the slab of bacon. Didn't really bend over. It just dropped the shoulder slightly. It was walking upright the whole time. I might add it was walking, not running. It was casually strolling as if it didn't have a care in the world. It dawned on me that it didn't mean any harm. It just wanted the bacon. Anyway, I went to the wagon and got the carbines and told him to awaken me in 2 hours. I woke up in the morning and he was fast asleep. Whatever it was could have had us if it had wanted to. The doors had not been installed yet, and when I went out to look for tracks, nothing in the gravel. I didn't expect any. I climbed down to the ground. I thought would be soft. It was dry, and there was a thick pad of pine needles. There were a few scuffed places, but the distance between them looked too far apart to be footsteps. I thought about venturing out and looking for a soft spot, but at the time I wasn't trying to prove anything to myself. If my dad wasn't such a chicken and had seen it, then I would have been more resolved to look further. Only now I was beginning to wonder if I'd imagined the whole thing. I really didn't make the connection until a few weeks after I'd come home, and there was a newspaper article about Sasquatch sightings in the area that I had just been in. I just made a mental note to ask any circus or zoo animal, or ask if any circus or zoo animals had escaped in that area, and if so, I would call them and tell them what I saw. I'm not relating this encounter to make you a true believer. At the time, I know I saw something, and this report on what I saw after 28 years, I now question it myself. The more the time passes, the sketchier the recollection is. I only offer this record in hopes it might help those who are seriously looking for it. I have one reservation. If this creature is real and it is found, will that doom it to extinction?
I don't want to shoot one, but I ain't letting nobody steal my bacon.
Nah. Bacon thief. Hey, Brother Rivers in.
Yep, he popped in while you was reading. This one's a pretty long one. Class A sighting from spring of 2001, Pierce County, Washington. Says if you Google Wilkeson, Washington, follow State Road 165 to the right, and follow Carbon River Road split until you see the wide spot of the Carbon River just before Fairfax. There's a yellow gate that is locked most of the time on the left-hand side of the road. Just enough room to park without blocking the gate. This old logging dirt road takes off at a 30-degree split off of Carbon River Road. Looks like a dog leg, really. If the gate was not in place, walk down this dirt road about an eighth of a mile, down around the corner to a view spot where you could get your first clear view of the river below. My wife and I stopped at a view spot to enjoy one last look at the River Valley Gorge below us. We were stationary, enjoying the view. Then we both perceived what looked like a tall man in a trench coat walking along the riverbed. The trench coat guy in question was traveling left to right up the Carbon riverbed from my point of view. I would guess 500 yards away total, 300 yards out and 200 yards below our state of elevation. My first perception of this visual was in 1 second met with confusion. I remember this object's gait was very strong, making good time across a boulder garden section of the riverbed. The easygoing swing of the arms was so natural, so at home, cruising with ease across boulders and rocks, so smooth, like walking on a sidewalk. The legs went far out to make big steps. As that first second of visual ending. Okay, I screwed something up. Okay, at the first second of visual recognition happened, I noticed how there was no clue of clothes or shoes. What I originally thought was a trench coat quickly gave way to questions in the mind over the next few seconds. There's no sleeves ending in hands, but a continuity of dark color all the way to the fingertips. Same thing with the feet area. No shoes. I will call this a he from here on because that's what my gut feeling is telling me. Though a couple paragraphs in words, only 2 seconds at this point of observing this creature walking up the valley riverbed. At about the 2-second mark, I glanced at my wife, and she glanced back at me, who was standing directly, and she was directly next to me. Then we looked back, and this guy is up until now had been walking. It was looking straight ahead of itself. Here is the cool part of the story. About a moment, we looked back in unison, thinking, "What is that?" Thinking, not saying it. He just cocks his head completely to the side up to meet our eyes instantly and holds my eyes in his while he's still walking. Then he goes behind a tree line between us, and that's when I say, "I think it's time to go." My wife said, "Yep," and we jumped on our bikes. We jumped back on our bikes and blazed up the dirt road to our car. Both of us were shaking a little. I feel that what I saw was a hairy mountain man that showed high intelligence, though the fact that he somehow picked up on us watching him. His eyes looked deep into mine for at least 2 seconds. Lots going on in that set of eyes that I remember to this day, 5 years later. Not well written either, but obviously scared the crap out of the dude.
You missed it as soon as you said trench coat. All of us broke.
Erect Bigfoot. It's a Bigfoot flasher.
Oh, because the Ray Stevens stuff started as soon as
Don't look at that!
I did this at one point.
Well, we can always tell because when the hat comes down and starts moving, we know you're laughing.
Oh, I hollered, "Don't look, Misty!" Too late.
Too late. She done got a free shot. So Buster and Phyllis says Robbie's hiding under his hat.
Ain't the first time that we've had to do that.
Whew. Okay, this is the not safe for work episode, apparently. Bigfoot, as played by Paul Rubens.
Hi, Mr. Bigfoot.
Look at this. Let's check this comment.
Good one, Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, I like that one. Misty, I think that kind of brought the pervert out in all of us tonight. Couldn't help it. The mood was set from story number one.
Oh, sorry. I derailed us again. I didn't even have to have Doc to help me this time.
However, if Doc had been here, that would have been perfect to make him read it.
If Doc had been here, me and him probably still would have been laughing.
Yeah, probably.
Now 48 minutes in, and we're still laughing about it. So
Hey, this is a great comment from Harold Goodell. A truer statement has never been made.
yeah, that's yeah.
Whew.
There's some.
Your turn, brother.
Here we go again.
Well, just bear in mind, this will probably be your last one. Depending on how long it goes.
Yeah. Hang on. It is. Map Squad says it's not responding, so hang on.
Misty says, "Can we make this a thing?" I think it's kind of a thing. It's probably going to get brought up a lot. It's going to be our Native American child, Little Running Gag.
Little running gag. That's funny. Please be a short one. Please be a short one. Okay, this will work. Years of South Florida skunk ape stories supported by witness accounts and newspaper articles. Broward County, Florida, July 20th, 1974. Huh. It's almost as old as I am. Or actually, it's as old as I am. Class A. Sunshine Acres, University Road, 106th and 111th Street, Griffin Road. In 1974, I was 12 years old visiting my sister M and her family in Davie, Florida, with my cousin A, who was 15 at the time. One night we were sleeping on a pull-out couch in the sitting room when we smelled something like a skunk, only worse. We asked my sister what it was, and she said it was a skunk ape, and he comes around in the hottest summers. We didn't believe her, so we asked our friends, and they said it was real. One night while we were sleeping, we saw a huge shadow come across the picture window. Then it turned, looked at itself, and let out a blood-curdling scream that scared us half to death. Then it turned and walked into the side of the house. Walked into the side of the house, or walked to the side of the house? It says into, but I think it meant walk to the side of the house. And we followed it by going into the side room. There it squatted down to eat a wild watermelon. Then it went back to the back of the house to a man-made lake, squatted down, and drank some water. A few nights later, the beast attacked a wild horse in its... Okay, if it's a wild horse, what's it doing in a corral?
Well, you can adopt a Mustang. I mean, that doesn't mean they're tame, but you can adopt a Mustang. There's still the Adopt a Mustang program still exists. Good luck riding one, but you can adopt them.
That just seemed like an oxymoron to me when I read it. It attacked a wild horse in its corral. Okay, whatever. I'm not from Florida, not questioning. But the horse got away by jumping over the corral and ran into the pasture. The rancher came out and took a few shots at the beast, but it got away. When the horse came back, it had fingerprints on its hindquarters, not scratches, but finger marks. A few nights later, the beast came back and killed the farmer's bull. The farmer took a few shots at the beast, but missed. Sounded like the farmer needed some range time. At the same time, my sister and her husband, Jay, were coming home from a night out, and the sheriff and his deputy were on patrol. We jumped into Joe's car and followed the deputy when the beast stepped out of the darkness and was hit by the police car. The beast went down, and when it got up, it looked into the police car and let out a blood-curdling yell. We were about 10 feet behind the deputy when the beast hit the police car with both hands, and the back of the car came off the ground. Then it limped off into the swamp. When the sheriff got there, the car looked like it had hit a utility pole. Just then, the farmer came over and told the sheriff that his prize bull was dead. The bull was huge, at least a ton, and it had ripped. It had a ton with a head ripped off and thrown across the pasture.
Damn.
Yeah, that's when they called the state police and their horses and dogs and helicopters. They searched the swamp all night but found nothing. I ain't too sold on that one.
It happens.
That's got some like some movie quality flair to it.
Misty said earlier, she said, I made a joke about my pacemaker. She says, we don't need you sizzling from the pacemaker. Well, funny story about that. When my doctor came in to check on me after the surgery, she goes, how are you feeling? I'm like, is this normal? She started freaking out. My wife's like, will you knock it off? Okay, I think I got time for one more. Possible Sasquatch vocalizations at Oliver Lake in Mount Rainier National Park, Pierce County, Washington. It's considered a Class B. Sound sighting only. It's audio only, not sound sighting. Summer of 2016 on a fishing trip in Mount Rainier National Park. A friend and I started our hike from Forest Service Road 73 into Mount Rainier National Park via the trail that goes past Lake Eleanor. This was the closest we could get to our fishing destination, which was Oliver Lake, due to long-time road closures in the area. We hiked in on maintained trails through Grand Park and down the White River and then up Lake James. From that point, it was a cross-country bushwhack past Lake Ethel. Don't look at the past Lake Ethel along Mosquito. They got some hellacious names up there. Past Mosquito Flat onto Marjorie Lake. Our plan was for 2 nights at Oliver Lake, but with some route finding difficulty, we stayed at Marjorie Lake just for 1 night. The next morning, we hiked about 15 minutes and located Oliver Lake, set up camp, and then began fishing. As we fished around part of the lake from approximately 11 a.m. to about 5 p.m., I found it odd that I didn't see any sign of human evidence of any kind. No other fishermen, no trails, no trash, the areas previously camped in, or etc. By the way, the fishing was fantastic. All catch and release except for the last one, a nice 15-inch rainbow trout, which was dinner. Later that night at the tent my buddy and I were sharing, my buddy was fast asleep and I was tossing and turning trying to get comfortable. Suddenly I hear a guttural, low-pitched screams coming from the ridge above us, which I estimate was about 300 feet up. Every inch of my body is at attention now. Every inch? And I'm trying to figure out what's making the noise. The screams came in quick succession, in total about 8 to 10 screams. By the time I woke my buddy up, the screams had stopped, and I explained to him what I'd heard. We continued to listen and didn't hear anything else, and eventually went to sleep. I'm writing this now because it jogged my memory from watching a Bigfoot show on TV last night, and it really struck a chord with me, and to reach out and report what I'd heard. I have been an active hiker, camper, and fisherman for many years and have stayed in many remote places here, Canada, Europe, and South America, and have never heard this type of low-pitched guttural screams. I've come across bear and cougar and did not attribute this sounds to either of those. No one else in the area knew where we were going except for the park staff that gave us the permit at Carbon River Ranger Station. That's pretty good. Whew, Lordy. Bigfoot screaming, yes, yes.
Something tells me he'd be screaming no to the big boy guy. That's why he moved and Went in Witsec and changed his name.
Well, folks, this is not a typical night for us, but this was fun. I laughed my butt off, and I even had tears in my eyes at a couple of points. But these were some great stories, but just the use of phrasing, the phrases that were used, just really struck a nerve with us two morons. You can ask my wife. I get the sense of humor of a 12-year-old on a good day. So certain phrases just set me and Robbie to giggling. I hope you guys had a good laugh with us, because I know we certainly did. And
Jeff, stop.
Yeah, stop it, Jeff. I don't know what you're doing, but stop it.
Yeah, he's sending me messages. Quit it now, Milkman.
Don't forget to check out all of our affiliates, the good folks over at Sigwo, discount code Bigfoot5. Check them out for a full line of Wild Hunt ARs and all kinds of things, because they can make it, and they're also making ammo now too, which should be making prices pretty good. Sorry, Jeff, but also check out Dark Angel Medical, discount code Cryptid20 for 20% off, because you never know when you're going to need a good medical kit. We're tie a tourniquet on a fully erect Bigfoot. Cut off the blood flow. Yeah, Bester and Phillips. Yeah, this is definitely a classic for the books. Check out Brock Blades. Ken makes awesome custom blades. Yeah, check him out, as well as Scallywag Tactical for a full line of tactical gear and awesome camp gear as well. But check them all out. Use discount code DA Roberts 10 at Scallywag, and they would love to hear from you guys. But folks, we've had a great time tonight. I've been laughing my butt off. I needed a good laugh, and this definitely hit the bill. As Robbie was saying earlier, he just finished his new book. It's in edits now. Got the cover working. Hopefully, he'll have that out in the very near future. And I'm going to try to get Dark Frontiers, Mountain Devil of the Absarokas. I'm going to try to get it done this week, if at all possible. So hopefully I'll have that done and ready to release very soon as well.
We kind of want a release order. We kind of want
at least close together anyway.
Yeah, it really wouldn't matter, because some people might read mine first, some people might read his first. But
either way, there's some significance to them being released close together. Yeah. Hope you guys will check them out. We'll have release details for you in the next few days, I'm sure, or the next week. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Hope you guys stick around and watch the entire outro, because I would love to hear your comments on the outro. Noah did an outstanding job. Credit to Misty. Misty Haynes in the chat from Woodwalkers. Credit to Misty for the song. She made that song for us, and I really like it. And I hope you guys like it too. Hope you guys enjoy the outro. Don't forget the 22 a Day Foundation. We lose 22 veterans a day to suicide, and it is 22 too many. Reach out to your friends and family that are first responders or veterans served in any capacity, because don't let the hard days win. They're all battling demons of some sort, and at least 22 times a day, the hard days do win. So reach out, let them know you think about them, let them know you care, because 22 a day is 22 too many, and we can get 22 down to 0. And hope you guys will all reach out to do that. Folks, if you're a veteran in crisis, or if you're anyone in crisis, for that matter, it's an easy number to remember. It's 988. It's just a simple 3-digit number, and that's the crisis intervention line. They're there for you 24 hours a day. Again, folks, check on your friends and family that are first responders, and we're going to close this rascal out with a toast, and I'm going to have Robbie do the toast, because it's only fair to let him do something serious after he cracked us all up for so long. But I'll let Robbie do the toast, and then you guys get to see the brand new outro. Robbie?
from the old Irish drinking song that doesn't necessarily mean see you at the end of the bar or at the end of the night leaving the bar. It's about those who you're not going to see again for a while. So everybody raise your glass, no matter what you're drinking, raise one with us. And since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call. Good night and joy be to you all.
Good night, everyone. Slanja Ma. Big thank you to our moderators for keeping the chat going, and we'll see you guys on Saturday night. Slanja.
Plains, the winds are howling, saloon doors swinging, shadows growling. 3 lawmen stand tough as rawhide. Yeah, Doc and DA, nothing can abide. Whiskey shots and poker faces, staring down the darkest spaces in this town where legends roam. These boys bring justice, sending evil home. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Jed's a howler, claws of steel, Doc's a biter, makes a devil real. But DA's a shifty one, a shape-shifting soul, can turn to anything, takes any form, takes control. Tonight the chupacabras come to town, sucking the life from all around. But these lawmen, they ain't afraid, they'll face the darkness unafraid. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Bat wings flap, the air grows cold, a chill and trap. But these lawmen, they're ready to fight underneath the pale moonlight. Jed and Doc transform with a howl, DA shifts, becomes a night owl. Together they stand a force so strong against the evil right in the road. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night.